नमस्कार, मी सौ भोसले एम.एस. उपशिक्षिका टिळक हायस्कूल कराड. शिक्षण मंडळ कराड आयोजित अध्ययन सक्षमता अभियानाअंतर्गत अध्ययन निष्पत्तीचं दृढीकरण करण्यासाठी आपण आज क्लास 8 चॅप्टर क्वाड्रिलॅटरल्स अँड देअर टाइप्स अँड देअर प्रॉपर्टीज याबद्दल अभ्यास करणार आहोत. Today we are going to study about quadrilaterals, definition of quadrilateral, basic concept and basic information about quadrilaterals and their types and properties of quadrilaterals. Quadrilateral. In our mind there is a question about quadrilateral. What is mean by quadrilateral? Quadri means four and lateral mean sides. Quadrilateral is closed figure. Quadrilateral closed by four sides. In your screen we see a figure about quadrilateral. We see four sides and four angles. Now we see another figure of quadrilateral and we name that quadrilateral, that is quadrilateral ABCD. Here we see four vertices, that is vertices A, B, C and D. We see four segments, that means four sides of quadrilateral, that is segment AB, segment BC, segment CD and segment DA. There are four angles, that is angle A, angle B, angle C and angle D. When we join vertices B and D, we see a line, and we join vertices A and C, we see another line, that is AC, and BD and AC are two diagonals of quadrilateral, and we all know that sum of measures of angles of quadrilateral is 360. Now we will see types of quadrilaterals. Here we see 6 types of quadrilateral. First, parallelogram. Second, square. Third, rhombus. Fourth, rectangle. Fifth, trapezium. And sixth, kite. Now here we see our first quadrilateral, that is parallelogram. Parallelogram ABCD. Here we see side AB parallel side DC and side AD parallel side BC. That is quadrilateral ABCD is a parallelogram. Here we see definition of parallelogram. A quadrilateral in which opposite sides are parallel is called parallelogram. Opposite side, here we see side AB and side DC, side AD and side BC, both are opposite sides. Opposite sides means समोरची बाजू. And angle A and angle C, angle D and angle B, both are opposite angles. Now we see properties of parallelogram. Quadrilateral ABCD is a parallelogram. Our first property is opposite sides are congruent. AB congruent CD and side AD congruent side BC. Here we see opposite sides are equal in length. Opposite angles are congruent. Our second property, angle A congruent angle C, angle B congruent angle D. Adjacent angles are supplementary to each other. Supplementary means sum of both angles is equal to 180 degree. Here we see angle A adjacent angle B and angle A plus angle B is equal to 180. Angle D plus angle C is equal to 180 degree. Diagonals bisect each other. Here we see diagonal BD and diagonal AC. Both intersect each other in point O and they bisect each other. That means both are differ equally. That is AO is equal to CO and DO is equal to BO. Here we see another quadrilateral, that is rectangle. We named it as quadrilateral PQRS. We see the definition of rectangle, a quadrilateral in which each angle is a right angle is called rectangle. In rectangle, opposite sides are parallel to each other. We see side PQ parallel side RS and side PS parallel side QR. Each angle is right angle. Right angle means 90 degree. It is denoted by a particular sign, and we know all angles are right angle. That means major angle P is equal to major angle Q is equal to major angle R is equal to major angle S is equal to 90 degree. Now we see properties of rectangle. Here we see quadrilateral PQRS. We all know that it is a rectangle. We see first property. Opposite sides are congruent. PQ opposite to RS and both are congruent to each other. PS opposite to QR and both are congruent to each other. All angles are congruent. We know measure of all angles is 90 degree. Obviously, all angles, that means angle P is equal to angle Q is equal to angle R is equal to angle S is equal to 90 degree. Diagonals bisect each other. Here we see diagonal PR and diagonal QS intersect each other at point O and they bisect each other. That means PO is equal to RO and SO is equal to QO. Diagonals are congruent to each other. The length of PR is equal to the length of QS and every rectangle is a parallelogram. Here we remember that every rectangle is a parallelogram, but every parallelogram is not a rectangle. If angle of parallelogram is 90 degree, then parallelogram convert into rectangle, but every rectangle is a parallelogram. Here we see third quadrilateral, that is rhombus. We named this rhombus, that is quadrilateral. LMNP is a rhombus. We see definition of rhombus, that is a parallelogram having all sides congruent is called a rhombus. In rhombus, opposite sides are parallel to each other. Side LM parallel side PN, side PL parallel side MN, and all sides are congruent to each other. Side LM, congruent side MN, congruent side PN and congruent side LP. Opposite angles are angle L and angle N, angle P and angle M. Now we see property of rhombus. Here we see quadrilateral LMNP is a rhombus. First property, opposite angles are congruent. Angle P congruent angle M, angle L congruent angle N. Diagonals are bisect each other at right angle. Here we see diagonal LN and diagonal PM bisect each other at point O, and that point O is a right angle. We see PO is equal to OM and LO is equal to ON, and angle PON is a right angle. That means it have a measure 90 degree. Why? Because diagonals are bisect each other at right angle. We know every rhombus is a parallelogram. Every rhombus is a parallelogram, but every parallelogram is not a rhombus. Now we see our fourth quadrilateral, that is square. Here we see a figure of square. We name that square, that is quadrilateral. XYZW is a square. We see definition of square, that is a quadrilateral in which all sides are congruent and each angle is a right angle, is called a square. Side XY is equal to side YZ is equal to side WZ is equal to side XW. All sides are congruent to each other and each angle is a right angle. That means each angle is equal to 90 degree. Major angle X is equal to major angle Y is equal to major angle Z is equal to major angle W is equal to 90 degree. In a square, all sides are same in length and all angles are equal in measurement. Square properties. Quadrilateral XYZW is a square. First property, diagonals are congruent to each other. Diagonal XZ is equal to diagonal WY. Diagonals are bisect each other at right angle. Here we see two diagonals intersect at point O and they bisect each other. That means XO is equal to OZ and OW is equal to OY, and angle XOY is equal to angle YOZ is equal to angle ZOW is equal to angle XOW is equal to 90 degree. Every square is a parallelogram, every square is a rectangle, and every square is a rhombus. Now we see another type, that is trapezium. Here we see a figure of trapezium. Quadrilateral HEFG is a trapezium, a quadrilateral in which only one pair of opposite sides is parallel is called trapezium. Here we see side HG and side EF parallel to each other, but side HE and side GF are not parallel. Property of trapezium. Here we see angle H plus angle E is equal to 180 degree and angle G plus angle F is equal to 180 degree. Here we see HG parallel EF, that means both are parallel line, and angle H and angle E are interior angles. So sum of these interior angle is 180. So angle H plus angle E is equal to 180. Now we see our last type, that is kite. Here we see a figure of kite. Quadrilateral ABCD is a kite. Definition of kite is a quadrilateral in which two pairs of adjacent sides is congruent is called kite. Adjacent sides, that is side AB and side BC, side AD and side DC. AB congruent to BC and AD congruent to DC. Here we see yellow portion, that is triangle ABC, and pink portion, that is triangle ADC. If we say AB congruent BC, then we say that triangle ABC is a isosceles triangle. So their base angles also congruent. Triangle ADC is also isosceles triangle, and we see that kite is made up of two isosceles triangle, that is triangle ABC and triangle ADC are two isosceles triangle, and kite is made up of two isosceles triangles. So we see our 6 types of quadrilaterals. Here we see main 4 types of quadrilateral. First is parallelogram, second is rectangle, third is rhombus, and fourth is square. Here we see 4 properties are same to each type of quadrilateral. Which 4 properties? Here we see opposite sides are parallel, opposite sides are equal, opposite angles are equal, and diagonals bisect each other. These 4 properties are same to all quadrilaterals. All quadrilateral means parallelogram have these 4 properties. Rectangle also have these 4 properties. Rhombus also have these 4 properties, and square also have these 4 properties. Rectangle also have each angle is 90 degree and diagonals are congruent. Rhombus diagonals are perpendicular to each other and all 4 sides are equal. Square, each angle is 90 degree. Diagonals are congruent. Diagonals are perpendicular to each other and all 4 sides are equal. So today we see all information about quadrilateral. We also study the objective of following, that is quadrilateral, basic information about quadrilateral, types of quadrilateral, that is parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus, square, trapezium and kite, properties of these quadrilateral, comparison of properties of all these quadrilaterals. So we conclude here our today's lecture. Have a nice day. Thank you for watching my video.